Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Popular Side podcast, the official Workington AFC podcast, and welcome to the third episode. I was hoping to get 3 guests on for the third episode, but now we only have 2/3 of the goalkeeping staff. We're joined by Alex and Billy.
Afternoon, how are we?
Hello. Afternoon. So, what's the absence of Mr. Danny Eccles here today?
He's a bit camera shy, but I've got to drop him in it, haven't I? He recently had a bit of a bad experience with an interview, which was kind of his own fault, because when Greg McCarriger signed again, he was here watching the game, and Danny rang him off a withheld number and just said, "Greg, Radio Cumbria want to do an interview with you. Will you have a pop round and see them?" And Greg run round dead keen, like the little Labrador he is, and got to Radio Cumbria and said, "Oh, do you want to do an interview?" And they were like, "Nah, don't know." So Danny and I were laughing in the dugout. So then John Walsh had asked him to come and do an interview about loyalty and about how long he's been at the club. And I think in his head he thought it was, when John had said, "Oh, you've been here 6 years, you haven't played very much." Danny said, "Was this a wind-up?" And just dropped the mic and walked off. I think he thought it was a bit of a retaliation, but so I don't know whether that's part of the reason. But he's a little bit camera shy. But I tried to coax him to come, but he wasn't having any of it, was he?
Yeah.
Not at all.
I remember when he got on bus on Saturday, was it just no?
No,
Flat out
absolutely not. No.
That's not no, is it?
No.
He's not fancying this.
Well, we'll start off with some normal questions. Obviously, as I've heard, you hate the laptop, but unfortunately,
It's not that I hate it.
but unfortunately, you stuck for it just with hopefully one more episode. But we'll try and do some questions. Just these some questions for both of you to kind of ease you into it. So, kind of, what's your hobbies outside of football?
So I go to the gym a little bit. I've got 2 young daughters, so that pretty much takes up the majority of my time, apart from here. So we're going to dancing, gymnastics, that sort of stuff. That's the type of dad I am now.
You were kids.
Oh, both. And then I just like watching telly, Netflix at the minute. That's where I'm at.
I've got 2 dogs, and don't really get a lot of time other than this, to be honest. Just it's either football, work, family, or used to play golf a bit, but I don't really get a lot more time.
Well, fair enough. We'll go into another funner question. So you're on a night out and you get called up to the karaoke machine. What's your go-to song?
Dakota, Stereophonics.
How many times have you seen them now?
42.
42.
How many karaoke's have you done with it?
Hundreds.
I'm terrible at karaoke.
I've heard it a few times in there.
It's awful as well. It's awful. Depends. Whatever the vibe is, I like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, but that's kind of maybe show me age there. What else am I thinking there? What did I sing last time? The Script, The Man Who Can't Be Moved. That was terrible as well.
Oh, fair enough. So we're going to go into more the football side of questions. Kind of, what's your supported team? What team do you support?
I'm Arsenal.
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 Carlisle.
Fair enough. Nice, keeping it local.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Right, we'll go into another one. What do you do on your non-match day weekend?
Similar to what I said before, with free time, it's whatever my daughters want to do. It's soft plays, dancing, gymnastics, that sort of stuff. Then once they kind of get to bed, like I said, me and the missus just kind of watch telly. To be honest, that's kind of as boring as my life is now. Nearly 35, and you kind of settle down.
I would say I get a bit lost without a game, to be honest, because I think barring 3 or 4 years, I've been doing this on a Saturday since I was 17,
right.
and mainly, other than sort of 4 or 5 years, I've been travelling since I was 17. Not quite as far as we are now, but North East every week, or Manchester, Leeds, like. So Saturday now for me is, I don't know what to do with myself. I just think it feels like a long day, because I don't watch football really outside of this. I don't really bother. So if she's got the kids, we'll maybe be at Carlisle trampolining, or if I'm away with the dogs or out doing something, but not a great deal.
No. I think I'm the same. Well, not that I've partaked in football, but just I don't do out else other than watch us play on a week.
Yeah, it's very consuming, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. So we'll go into another one. Do you have any kind of... We'll go in like pre-match rituals, any kind of like pre-match meals, you know, kind of that you have every
So
single
how can I have this? I haven't played for 20 years.
Well, I'm gonna say, no, not really. To be honest, it's probably the last couple of years I've had to travel a little bit more for home games, so that's kind of altered like my pre-match meals. To be honest, normally I was kind of between 12 and half 12 I'd eat, but now I've got a kind of factor in kind of travelling time. So when I was obviously here, it's about 45 minutes from Carlisle to here. A couple of years ago I was at Blythe, that was about an hour and a half, so I was eating, like, I think what did Dad mention? The tuna and rice.
Oh, aye.
Yeah, that was Kwango. So again, I'm eating what did I eat this morning? Chicken pasta. Again, that must have been close to 11 o'clock, which doesn't sound great, but it wasn't great. But it's like I said, it's got to be done. It's got to be done. And I haven't really got any rituals, to be honest. Caffeine, as I'm getting older, caffeine's a big one that I'm hitting pretty much every game. Kind of stuck up on that to make sure I'm alert throughout.
Yeah.
I found one. I've got one at the
Oh,
moment.
you've got one. Go on.
Codeine.
Right.
I've got like most of the people here know anyway. At the moment, I've got 2 torn meniscus and I've got a hernia.
Oh God.
So I've been limp through training every week and limp through warm up. So I've just had 2 codeine there before warm up, and I'll have ibuprofen after the game. So I think my pre-match meal at the minute's codeine or painkillers.
Well, you know, the more you know. I've got a new
Only
contact
temporary
about Billy there. So, in your kind of youth, you know, how you've obviously become goalkeepers, both of yous, who was your kind of like idol you looked up to?
Peter Schmeichel.
Peter Schmeichel.
He was the reason I started playing in goal. I just loved I think he changed the game, changed the position of goalkeeping forever. He was just a beast. The way that he was so unorthodox with the big star that he used to come out, spread his cell and jump, and his handling was phenomenal. He was just a big, formidable man, and I loved the madness of him. And I watched him when I was 10, 11, and then I watched him like when I was 12 in the 92, because I'm that old, in the 92 Euros, and I wanted to play. My dad got us a pair of the Reusch gloves, and I was just out on the field all the time in the nets.
Yeah.
So that was the reason I started playing.
For me, similar. It was David Seaman. So probably similar sort of times, weren't they? David Seaman, Schmeichel.
Yeah.
Probably polar opposites in terms of goalkeepers. Schmeichel more manic, shouting, balling, whereas I think Seaman was more kind of calm and collected, and that's what got me into football. Supported Arsenal. My family's not really kind of football background. I don't know why David Seaman. It just made it stick. Then, kind of a little bit later on, it was Joe Hart, and then that's kind of, if I'm saying I've kind of tried to model my game on certain aspects. That's definitely one aspect that I look at for Joe Hart.
So leading on from idols to now, kind of, were they the reasons that led you into choosing goalkeeping, or is there more to it? Kind of just like, were you forced into kind of moving into goalkeeping, or was it just a kind of a passion thing?
Yeah, I know what you mean. To be fair, I got thrown in goals because I was the tallest. That was generally then. I'm not that we've spoken about it, but I guarantee yours will be exactly the same. Just love diving around in the mud, jumping around the mud, and then, as bad as it sounds, like spoiling people's day, like scoring goals. That's kind of as basic as it really is. Looking back, I wish I chose a different position. So much pressure. Like, I've kind of gone through the levels. It's a lot more stress, a lot more pressure, but it's what it is. And like I say, I still enjoy it to this day.
Well, I didn't like running around. I played rugby league till I was about 12, and I didn't like getting hit. So I started playing football because I was reasonably good with my hands with playing rugby. I didn't want to run around that much. I love just throwing myself around. Love getting muddy. Love just like Al says. I loved like my mates would play finals or World Cup down the field, and they'd be taking 3 or 4 players on and bend one in the middle top corner, and you'd pull a save off and they'd be sick, and I just love it. Just get buzz off it, and I never really wanted to play anywhere else. I loved it from I was 11, 12-year-old.
Fair enough. In my youth, I was a goalkeeper as well, but mainly because I was shoved there. And then, unfortunately, I haven't grown up tall enough to be the nice 6 foot, the golden.
I wasn't, believe it or not, I'm 6'3". I was 5'7" when I left school.
All right.
I had a massive growth spurt when I was 16. I wasn't anywhere near the tallest in my group growing up, but then it came a bit later for me.
Yeah.
Like my brains.
Just one night, turn into a giant. Right. Well, unfortunately, Billy, we're going to have to sideline you just for a little bit, as now we're going on to the section with questions just for Alex over
Spot
here.
on.
Get a nice lull break for you. So, in my little research I've done, I've noticed you have a little bit of an arm tattoo.
Oh yeah.
So I was just wondering, is there any kind of meaning to that?
Not specifically to that one. To be fair, I'm covered, to be honest. That's probably the more predominant one. I've got a few some of the patterns in there that's to do with family. Like I said, reference my daughters again. I've got the names of both my daughters on my various parts. I've got a tattoo kind of similar to the missus, and then I've just kind of got like another one the other week, to be honest, on the inside of that arm. So I'm kind of slowly covering the body parts, but I need to kind of be careful because I'm a teacher as well. So that's coming into it as well.
All right. So we're going to go all the way back to your youth career. So in 2008, you were part of the Carlisle youth team that beat Manchester United. Having stars like Danny Welbeck, Oliver Norwood, Danny Drinkwood. Kind of after you finished that game and you then beat that team, how did it kind of feel?
I was buzzing. Like I say, that's been up there for the kind of highlights of my career. Just like even the names you mentioned there. So Alex Ferguson was watching, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. There was just, like I say, we were just little Carlisle against Man United. It was supposed to be due to be played at Old Trafford, but it's due to the Champions League. That's how serious it was getting. They needed the pitch, so we played. I can't even remember where we played, to be honest. But,
I think you said Northwich when I looked it up.
That's where it was, Northwich, Victoria. It was just massive. And then again, like if you look at the team sheet from the Carlisle team from there, there's 5 or 6 lads that have kicked on and had a proper career out of it.
Yeah, even some that's played for us, like Connor Tinian and Dan Wordsworth. Yeah. So then we'll go now into your first ever senior game. So in about 2009, I think it was at Gretna, kind of your first game. How did that feel, first game in senior football?
I enjoyed it. Have you got the result or not?
I unfortunately couldn't find it.
To be fair, so the biggest thing for me was going from kids football under 18s to seniors. Like I said, I was always been kind of like tall. But it's in the state of me now, I'm still pencil thin. So like I said, I could kind of get away with certain stuff in terms of like not getting bullied. But when it come into playing against men, it changed. So I had to kind of reevaluate how I do sort of things. But no, I enjoyed it. It kind of that's what I wanted to do since I was a young kid. Just play football, and kind of one piece of advice someone said to me once was just as long as you enjoy it and you get a little bit of pocket money from it, that's no one can argue. And I've done that since I was 15, 16.
So then over the next 5 years, you then ended up at Anna and Queen of the South. I think there's one more, Gretna as well. Kind of what was your favourite spell over that 5 years, and what kind of made it that special?
I enjoyed my time at Annan. Like I say, I've got a lot of fond memories from Annan. Even I can't remember how long ago since I played there, but like a lot of the lads that I played with are still there, and that was similar to what Workington was. There's just generally been like a core set of players throughout, and you've just had sprinkled players from in and out. It's been a bit more chaotic the last couple of years here. Obviously the names you mentioned there, Dan Wordsworth, Connor Tinian and Scotty Allison retiring. So we've kind of try to fill them voids. That's what we've struggled with probably, to be honest. But probably Annan, and then obviously more recently been at Blythe as well. I really enjoyed my time there. Yeah.
Next question. So then you joined Reds for your first stint out of, I believe it's 3 now, in the 2015-16 season, and unfortunately it did end in a playoff final heartbreak to Salford 3-2. Kind of mentally, how did you like come back from that, kind of just the disappointment of it?
That was a tough one. Like I said, obviously for the club, right good chance of going up.
Last minute.
Yeah. My fault as well. It was my fault. So I played the majority of the season, done well, and then I played a league game at Salford, earlier in the season, probably a couple of months before the playoff final, and I had a stinker. Just nothing worked. I dropped everything. I think must have definitely conceded a few goals, and I reckon all of them were my fault. And then got dropped for a couple of games afterwards, which rightly so. And then came back in and done well. And then playoff final, just wanted to set the record straight. Like I said, I've done really well the first half. Put that to bed. Then just last probably 15 minutes, I got bullied on the cross, and then in the last minute of the game, just misjudged the ball in the air again. Went to punch it, kind of got a little nudge, fell down. The lads avoided it in. So again, after coming back from that was tough. Kind of got left Reds that summer.
Yeah.
Went back to Annan, and I had to sit on the bench for predominantly the year. So probably a little bit more of a mental battle than anything. But like I said, kind of stuck by it and kind of believed in myself, and eventually got my chance, and kind of never looked back, to be honest.
Yeah, so we're going to go kind of into the Annan part. So in 2016, you were part of the Annan squad that went to Rangers away, I believe.
Yeah.
And you unfortunately didn't come on, but on the bench, could you feel kind of the atmosphere, the Ibrox, and kind of what was that like?
Yeah, it was class. Like I said, I was lucky enough to play a good few years before there. I played at Ibrox twice now.
Wow.
So in the league, when Rangers got relegated all the way down, so I've won there.
All right.
That's my claim to fame. So won there 2-1. That was my big one. But yeah, like playing a crowd of 45,000 is a different atmosphere. I think referring back to what Dad was saying there, like you couldn't speak to your teammate beside you because the noise was just deafening. But again, that's what it's all about. That's what you dream of playing in front of.
Nice little callback there to the last episode.
Yeah, big fan.
So now we're going to go into kind of the more general questions. Who's your favourite manager you've worked under?
I've had a couple, to be honest. Probably more recently, Blythe, Graham Fenton. And people might think that's a bit... No, I got relegated with Blythe as well, but I just thought he was just an honest person. And that goes a long way in my book. He was ruthless, he wanted high standards. But yeah, I respect him. He was straight down the line with me. He said what he liked about me, what he didn't like about me, and I can live with that. It's where people kind of don't tell you what you want or say something, do something different. That's where I kind of struggle with. But no, he was straight down the line. I really liked him. I liked the style of play that he used. Put me under pressure a lot of times, playing out from the back. But again, it kept me involved. I had to learn. I think probably my knowledge in the last few years has probably developed more in terms of football than what it had done prior in the earlier career.
Yeah. So now, from managers to players, who's your favourite player you've played with?
Played with? I'm going to say, I could rattle names out for fun here.
Go for it. Yeah.
So, Scotty Allison was up there for me. He just had everything. A lad called Tam Muir at Annan, played with him a couple of years again. Just again had everything. I think he's playing. We went to watch him play off, didn't we? He's a striker. Played centre back. He's just
like rigged that one season.
Yeah. But again, like going back to that, like I'm not necessarily bothered about the kind of skill of players. It's like if you're honest and you're hard working, I think it goes a long way at this level. Yeah. So going to see Riggy now, like Cass, charging. I can't keep it more local, so fans probably know what we're talking about. Yeah, Riggy. Yeah, they just know, like Ginge. They just what you're getting from them.
Yeah.
Week in.
Yeah, probably.
just proper people, and like I said, they don't hide behind anything. They wear the heart on the sleeve, and you know exactly what you're going to get from them, pretty much week in, week out.
So now, from people you played with to people you played against, who's the best one you played against?
A couple of the ones I've mentioned before. So Danny Welbeck's probably the kind of standout one. From there, I'm trying to think. Nico Cranchar, any fans know them from?
Where was he at?
He was at Rangers.
Oh, was he?
He was at Rangers. It was Jordan Henderson. He was just a young boy at the time, but I'm still taking that claim to fame. I'll go give a blast from the past if any older fans are there. David Healy,
right?
At Northern Ireland, top goal scorer.
Where was he at? Preston?
No, Sunderland.
Sunderland.
Yeah, we got stitched. So when I was again youth team at Carlisle, we put our youth team against Sunderland reserves. Sunderland played 3 internationals.
Wow.
Yeah, so David Healy, Daryl Murphy, Henderson came on. Who was the other one? Grant Ledbetter. You can remember
yeah.
it?
Right.
Yeah, in the Premiership or Championship. Yeah, it was 8-0. So it was like, it just...
All right.
Yeah, plenty. That's who one of the best players. But Andy Cook.
Andy Cook.
Andy Cook, yeah. So going back of that one there, was he got a pro contract after that game. He got beat 8-0. He didn't have a shot and he got a pro contract. But obviously he's kicked on and fair play to him.
Right, unfortunately that's the end of your question, because I already asked you about the pre-match rituals. Now we're on to Mr. Redden over here.
Sunday name.
Right, let me just make sure I've got them all up so I don't look like an idiot. So, your career was very locally based in and around the county.
Cheers for that.
So, could you tell us all the teams you played for?
It's a nice way of saying I wasn't that good. I started at Clayton Celtic. I got in the first team there when I was 17. Played a couple of years there, went to Whitehaven Amateurs, dotted about like Millham, and then I came here when I was 22, 23, had 2 seasons here. Probably never really applied myself as well as I should have done. I was probably better than I showed in that 2 year. Played a lot of reserve games, not really got a chance with the first team. Quite bitter about that for a lot of years, but a bit older than I am now, I realise that it was my own fault. I didn't really... Me and Robert Ennis, who was a mainstay in the team at that time, me and him were out on a Thursday night every week after training, and I wasn't really as dedicated as I am now, to be fair. I was so I think I probably let myself down in that, and then when I left here, I got a knee injury and then left and just went and played for Bootle and played for Windscale and played for Whitehaven again, and just I wasn't getting the joy out of it anymore. I stopped playing when I was about 26 and went into coaching.
So, obviously, back kind of to your playing, you once did get on the bench for Reds. Once. How did it kind of feel to, finally get on the bench? You know what I mean? How did it feel?
Well, the fight was 23 years ago, and it was October FA Trophy against Spennymoor. That's how it felt. I was buzzing. So I still am. Like, and none of my friends ever got on the bench for Reds. So you've got to put it into context. I wasn't the best goalkeeper in the world. I was all right. I was good. I was good locally, but I was limited, probably to a degree, like I said before, by my own dedication, my own application. I trained with Reds for a year, played in reserves, and got on the bench once. If that was my limit and that was my level, then I reached it, and I was happy, and it was great being a part of that squad for 2 seasons. There was like Matt Ennie, Will Varty, Tony Hopper, Johnny Wharton, Alan Gray, Jono that's in the youth team now, Robert Ennis. There was some good players in that squad, and it was a great Glenn Murray, Graham Goulding, Brian Dawson. It was a good squad to be a part of, and it was crazy. There was some good nights out, some good crack. It was a good, more or less local, majority local.
It would be nice to tap into the stories of the nights out, but unfortunately I don't think we have
Probably
time.
Can't remember most of them.
Right, we'll go into our next question. So before becoming a goalkeeping coach at Reds, obviously you said you started coaching, did you say 26? Is that about right? 25,
26, I think, when I first started, just with my Sunday League team, just helping out. But it started just helping out at Whitehaven Amateurs second team, and then did me level 1, level 2, and then I had a few years out of the game. I was working shifts and just had loads of stuff on. A little, like, my daughter's lived with me since she was 10, so I didn't really have a lot of time to be up and down the country. So I had a few years out of it, and then got tempted back in by, in fact, Jordan Little's wife Chloe. Her dad was running the ladies team, Carl, and he needed a little bit of help. So I went down and helped him out, and then ended up taking over the ladies here, and we won the county cup. And I sort of got the bug again for it a little bit, and took over the reserves the year after we'd Craig Routledge. Me and Routy took over the reserves for a couple of years, and then the second year of that was when, unfortunately, Dabber had a bit of an illness and had to drop out of the season. So I came in, ironically, with Bones to help Bones out for the season in the first team, and then was offered the job of assistant manager at Penrith under Andy Coyles, who I've known for 20 odd years. I did a couple of years with Andy at Penrith, and then was offered the Whitehaven Amateurs job just after I'd done my B licence. So I stayed at Whitehaven for 2 seasons, 3 seasons, and then I got sick of chasing players and sick of like people not being committed and just not caring. And it takes a little while to get used to a different culture now. It's a lot different than when we were younger, isn't it? I mean, Al's a lot younger than me, but like it's a lot different. It doesn't matter as much to a lot of people now, I think, and there's so much more for them to do. Weekends away, like going away city breaks every other week, and at 20-year-old, and I just got sick of chasing players, and I just didn't want to do it anymore. And then Danny Granger phoned me out of the blue. It was just after he rang me just before Terry come in, asked if I wanted to come back and do anything, and I just said, like, my mum was really ill at the time, and I just said I've got too much on my plate. And then not long after my mum passed away, he just rang us and he just said, it's about time you got yourself back in.
Right.
And he said, do you want to come down and help out with the keepers? And I thought, hi, I'll come down. So I went pre-season training and I loved it. And he just said, how much involvement do you want? I said, much as you want me to have. So from then on, I've been here full time since third season.
Very interesting story, kind of how all the little breaks in between as well. So a very nice journey it seems you've had in coaching. So over the past 2 seasons, as well as kind of being a goalkeeping coach, you have been asked to come into interim charge twice. Kind of the first time round, how did it feel to get the phone call to be asked to, coach the team for a hobbies?
I didn't have time to feel much. We got the phone call off Richard. Well, I got the phone call off the manager first, the outgoing manager. And then Richard rang us a little bit later and just asked if me and Brian would step in just for the last 3 games. And then within about 5 minutes, Brian was on the phone. And I think for the 3 weeks after that, we were on the phone about 5 or 6 hours a day. To be honest, there wasn't a lot needed doing. The lads just, I think the Thursday night that we had the first training session, we just said, like, let's just go out, do what we know you can do. We just tried to put round pegs in round holes for the last 3 games and just asked for lads to go and be themselves, play with a bit of flair, a bit of freedom, bit of like, just show the fans what we've got in here in the club, because we've got good players. And even though this season maybe hasn't shown it a lot, we've got really good players in the club and really good lads, a really good group. And we did then. It's changed a bit now, the different players. But again, we had a really good group of players. I think they just needed a little break, and we picked up and got enough in that 3 games to keep us up. But what I will say, and I've heard it a few times, is about progression and saying, we really progressed last season. We finished 12th. It was a bit of a false position. Yeah. We really finished in the same position as we finished under Danny the season before. Yeah. It was just that Cunny brought a bit of a depleted Ashton up on the last game of the season. Yeah. I mean, not taking anything away from our lads. We played well that day, but 5-0. It moved us up about 4 places. It
did, on goal difference. I think it was 5-1, wasn't it?
It was 5-1.
Well, 5-1 Strachan and Galloway, and then 2-0.
But it moved us up 4 or 5 places higher than we would have been. But I think on points wise, we pretty much finished the same as we did the season before. But it just looks a bit better because we finished mid-table. But yeah, enjoyed it, to be honest.
Deducted as well.
Matlock got deducted.
That's Friday, so that kind of
a
little bit.
It was just before the Morpeth game, that wasn't it?
Was it?
Yeah. I thought it was on the day of mine, but
the
still.
night before.
Just a bit of. We knew we were safe.
Yeah, it was a bit of relief.
So it was tight, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a bit nippy close to the end, but yeah, I enjoyed it. It was really nice. I've never had any designs on being a manager of this football club. Like, I know I've seen stuff on Facebook about me and Brian wanted the job. Neither of us did. No. Like, I never want to be a manager again. I love kicking balls at goalkeepers and doing bits like that. Like, I have no interest in being a manager. But it was nice. It was nice that the club felt they could call on us when they were stuck, and that we could help them out a little bit.
So we'll go round to the second time after, unfortunately, Edmondson got sacked. Kind of, how was it the second time? Was it different to the first? Did you feel more ready for it? Did you kind of?
No, I think it felt worse because I think we were probably a lot more invested in it that time because we'd been there from Darren coming in. I was a lot more involved. Like every discussion was me, Brian, Darren.
All right.
It wasn't like we discussed everything. So we were all involved in, like, at the coalface, if you like. We were all kind of making decisions and all discussing them, and he felt a lot more invested in the process as such. And then when he got sacked, I think me and Brian had conversations. We felt like we'd let him down a bit as well, and so he'd hurt a little bit more, I think. But we were just happy to step in and help wherever we could, and give them the time to bring in who, in my opinion, is the right man for the job.
Yeah.
In Billy, and it gives them that extra little bit of time to make that right decision.
So you obviously ended it quite well with 3 points on your final game.
Yeah.
So we'll go into the next question, kind of moving to Billy now. How is it to work with him, or under Billy?
I think it's fantastic. I think he's a great. I mean, we talk about it quite a bit. He's a really, really nice guy. First and foremost, very knowledgeable about football, but his temperament is perfect for leading a group of men. He's calm, but he's authoritative. He doesn't lose his head unnecessarily. He's very clear. Everything's clear and simple. The messages, it's not complicated, and he genuinely cares about everybody as well. And he's not frightened to pull people in the office and tell them, and let them go, or let them tell them what's going on. He won't hide from uncomfortable conversations, but I think he's fair, he's honest, and I mean, we've all talked about, haven't we, about how, like, everybody wants to do well for him. Not that they didn't before, but he's a top guy, a really good coach, and I hope he does really, really good things here.
I definitely hope he stays for a long, long time, from like a fan's point
and
of
I'm
view.
not only being nice about him so he keeps me in a job.
Right, we'll stick kind of on the coaching side. So outside of the game of football, do you have like a coaching company that you could...
I've started West Cumbria Goalkeeping. Get it in. I've started that a couple of years ago. I've just been doing it this morning, actually, but it was mainly just because I never had anything like that when I was growing up, and I've seen a few people offering goalkeeping coaching stuff around here that aren't goalkeeping coaches, or that aren't goalkeepers, and I just thought there's a bit of a gap there with 20 years of goalkeeping behind me, and now me coaching and stuff that I'm doing, and working with these guys every week. It's great to see the kids every week developing and learning. I've had some kids with me now 2.5 years, and seeing the improvement in them. A few of them are now in Carlisle, or a lot of them are in Reds. Not because of me, they were there anyway, but to see their improvement, and like, a big thing about it is I always want to teach them the whys of goalkeeping, not just putting sessions on where they run through cones and catch stuff. I want to teach them and the parents, because a lot of it's about educating the parents as well, about, so they can, after a game in the car, if they go, oh, did this or did that, yeah, but Billy's talked about your footwork and your movement, and trying to just educate them on the position more than just training them. It's more about sort of teaching them and learning them, and it's great when I say to them now, why did that go in, and they'll go, oh, because I didn't have my feet set on my hands, like, so for them to understand what they're doing, like, I get a lot of pleasure out of that.
So we'll kind of stick with youth coaching in a way. So obviously you're a part kind of with the academy, you help the goalkeepers. Is there anyone to kind of look out for in the near future? Well,
I don't really have anything to do with them, but we do have, occasionally we have some of the under-23 or the under-18s keepers training with us. So we had Joe Rumney training with us last year, who has a lot of promise. He's like that, but he's a hell of a young keeper. He won't mind me saying that. I've said it to his face. He's a good kid, a great kid. He's gonna do well. He's only 16, so he's got a lot of growing to do and a lot of learning to do. But he's a phenomenal young athlete, and he's going to be really good. And we've sometimes have Scott Payton-Gale in as well, who's been training with us. He was actually training my first session nearly 3 years ago.
Right.
And he comes occasionally, but yeah, I mean, Joe, I would say Joe's probably the one for the future. Scott's probably 22, 23 now. He's a good keeper. He's been doing bits at Carlisle City and Clayton Celtic, and So yeah, we've got some good goalkeepers.
That's great to hear, especially from a fan side. Just the future is there at least.
Definitely.
So the next question I've got for you is, do you have any funny tales kind of your many years of coaching football?
I genuinely don't think, like, I don't know. I have no idea. I heard somebody get asked this before, and I was thinking, what would I say? I said, I have no idea. There's loads and loads, like, but there's that many that they've all kind of blurred into one. Like, I remember playing a football match at Moorrow, and our right winger was running down the wing, and there was a siren up the top of the field, and he put a cross in and run down the cycle track and took off, full in his kit, because police had turned up for him. But like, there's loads and loads of stuff. But yeah, it's been 20 odd years of being in football. You get a lot of laughs, a lot of good crack, and yeah, it's always good fun.
Very good. So we'll just go into your general questions. Who's the best goalkeeper you've ever coached?
It's got to be him and Danny, isn't it? No, in all seriousness, like I know my title is goalkeeping coach, but it's not so much like Mitch is a better goalkeeper than I ever was, and he's a lot more experienced than I ever did. So I don't come in and try and coach him. I think it's more facilitating what he needs out of me to get him ready for Saturday.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you and Danny work really well together. We have all got a good relationship. Maybe not what they say behind my back, but we get on really well. We have, me and Mitch speak all the time. So I'll say to him, is there anything you need for Thursday? What do you want to do? And he'll say, I'm going to be feeling a bit sloppy on this. Can we do stuff on this? And then together we'll put a session on that gets what he needs out of it. So it's more just supporting these guys in getting ready for Saturday, really.
So obviously we're going to go into a quick general question with both yous. Obviously we've got the big looming thing of moving to a new ground over the next couple of years. Kind of, are you excited to go there? What's the kind of thought?
I am now. We went over for a visit. The coaching staff went over for a visit the other week. It's great. It's a good facility, good changing rooms, good pitch. The pitch is fine. It's going to be a good place to be while we can't be home.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it, yeah.
Mitch, you looking forward to it?
Yeah, definitely. Get anything to get off that current pitch at the minute is wow. It's interesting. Yeah, but playing over there should be. Actually, I've never seen it, but again, just a new atmosphere, isn't it? A new ground to go to, and then obviously when the ground gets built here. Again, I think referring what Dav said the other podcast, I don't know whether I'll be here or not, whether I'll be retired or what, but again, it'll be good for the community, good for the club, just to progress from there.
Right. Well, thank you both for joining us. Thanks for being here, and good luck in the rest of the season, basically.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you, mate.
Cheers, bud.